So in this video, we are going to extend what we learned in the first video on Pygame, and we're going to create a logo that uses some shapes, like rectangles, circles, and triangles. So what I did, just to give you an idea, I just created a pretty cheesy logo with my first initial. It's got a red square, it's got a couple triangles, green circle, and then the white B in the middle. Again, not very impressive, but it's going to show us how to do some basic shapes and colors in Pygame. So we're going to utilize some of the object-oriented principles we learned in the last unit. So I'm actually going to make a new file here, and I'm going to call it let's just call it logo.py. It's going to be my logo class file. So I'm going to do a lot of the creating of the logo in the class file, and then my draw logo program will be the one that just prints it out to the screen. So this will do the bulk of the work. So let's go ahead and start working on our new class. We don't need all the Pygame modules in here, but we do need actual Pygame because we're going to do some basic Pygame things in here, like drawing. And so now we're going to make a new class. We'll call it class logo. And then we'll create a constructor. And the constructor, in addition to the self method, or the self parameter, will have a, let's call it a main surface. We'll receive a surface from whatever program uses our class. So let's go ahead and set up that self.main surface equals that main surface that's passed. We can use it in different parts of our program. And let's go ahead and initialize Pygame when this method gets created, or when this class, an instance of this class gets created. We may have to come back and add some things, but for right now that'll work. And let's go ahead and do a draw logo method that just has the parameter self. And we may have to adjust this later. So let's go ahead and start drawing some shapes that we'll use with Pygame. So let's go ahead and let's go back to our logo for a second, and we notice that the first thing is this red rectangle. And if we look, it's about a third of the screen. So we're going to make a rectangle that goes all the way across. That's about a third of the screen. Just so the math is easy, we're going to make our window 600 by 600, which means that our rectangle is going to be 200 pixels high by 600 pixels wide. Let's go ahead and create a red rectangle. So to do that, I do pygame.draw.rect, which is short for rectangle. And like tkinter, the first parameter is the surface on which that is being drawn. So we're going to put our main surface. And then we're going to add what color our rectangle should be. Pygame handles color in a little different way than we've seen before. It actually takes a tuple of numbers in RGB format, red, green, blue. So let's go ahead and put that in there. Red is going to be 255, no green, no blue. The next parameter is another tuple that gives the dimensions of the rectangle, the x, the starting x, the starting y, and then the width and the height. So if our screen is 600 pixels by 600, we want the rectangle to start at x equals 0 and y at 200. In Pygame, the 0, 0 is the upper left, and x increases as it goes across, and y increases as it goes down. The next two coordinates in that tuple are the width and the height, and we know that we want the width to be 600 pixels and the height to be 200 pixels. And then the last parameter is the width of the stroke of the rectangle, or whatever our object happens to be. If we put it as 0, it's filled in. If we made it 1, it would have a line of 1 around the edge of the rectangle. Now let's go ahead and pygame.draw.update update. Actually, sorry, pygame.display.update. When you draw the rect to the screen, it puts it there, but it doesn't display until the pygame.display.update method is called, and then everything is drawn at once as it's more efficient. So let's see if we can go back to our draw logo, and let's see if we can set it up so that our square or our rectangle will be created. So let's go ahead and create a new instance. Well, first of all, we need to import our logo file. And then let's go ahead and create a new instance of our logo. I'll call it my logo equals logo.logo. And then I'm going to pass it a surface, which is main surface. And then let's go ahead and do my logo.draw logo. Let's go ahead and run that and see what that looks like. See if it worked. And you see we've got a black window this time and a red rectangle. At least the red rectangle looks good. This doesn't look so great. So let's see if we can change that in our class file. Let's go ahead and add a fill to our window. So I can do self.mainSurface.fill. Let's fill it with white. So I need a tuple that designates whites, and white is 255 for red, 255 for green, and 255 for blue. Now let's go ahead and draw a logo. Let's see if that looks any better. And it does. So now I've got my red rectangle drawn, and I'm ready to do the rest. So in the next video, we'll go ahead and have most of this typed in, and we'll go through the lines one by one so you can see the code without having to watch me type the whole thing in.